Okay, we're going to an episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff to have a really cool comparison for you guys from the brand Artem straps. They were originally founded out of Adelaide, Australia, and they are the producers of the world's finest sailcloth strap. And we'll be comparing their new kind of top-of-the-line premium offering in their HydroFlex with their, previously kind of chart-topping Loopless sailcloth strap with a Omega-style Deployant. And, these are very expensive. Each of these as configured is over $200, like $218 for the HydroFlex, $214 for the Loopless with that particular add-on, as well as doing with the openings for the fat spring bars, which is great because now I'm able to use the OEM Seiko spring bars on this one. So these we'll get that part out of the way, is that these are very expensive, right? So not everybody has money to be buying the best strap ever in multiple variations. Like maybe some people are watching this thinking, hey, I've been wanting to get one or the other, and let me see how they both kind of compare. And I thought, why not pair them with what I think are kind of perfect pairings. Here you see the Hamilton Murph 38 and then my SLA017 MAS reissue. But all of that has been long gone and sold out. For those of you that may be, let's say, wearing a newer release, the SJE093 62 MAS reissue, I think this is also a great option for you as well because of that newly released gray tone sailcloth. Looks absolutely fantastic, and it really kind of elevates the look above just your kind of typical sports watch style. So there's a lot to enjoy here, and again, if you can only pick one or the other, that's really what we'll be kind of getting into the details on. So with that said, let's go ahead and zoom the camera out, get these pieces in hand, and take a closer look. All right, guys, so both of these pieces are really quite outstanding in terms of their aesthetic, right? Like the hybrid strap definitely adds a more sporty flavor to it. The Loopless sailcloth adds more of kind of an old school look, and you can see that that's quite interchangeable. Like hey, this probably has the more of the maritime vibe, being more of related to dive watches, and then this hybrid strap I think really just goes well as a sporty kind of do-it-all strap, similar to, let's say, this Hamilton Field Khaki Murph, that doesn't feel just like exclusively like a field watch, but also adds a bit of that kind of adventurous vibe to it as well. And the nice thing is you can see you can really juxtapose the kind of aged loom against this nice new beige colorway, which is new release. These are actually both newer release colorways, the gray for the sailcloth and then the beige for the hybrid. So really cool, and actually they're available on either side. Like you can get this one in gray or this one in beige as well, so kind of cool. But these are really cool. So let's just focus on the new kid on the block for now. So you guys have seen some reviews for these, I'm sure. So we'll just kind of take it from the top. $218 direct. You can get these in green, gray, blue, black, or sand beige. This is in sand beige. And it's going to be available in most widths in terms of 18, 19, 20, 21, or 22. This is the 20 millimeter. And this has a short end of 75 millimeters and a longer end of 115 millimeters, which is a pretty standard size. It's a little bit shorter, so for those of you that like to not have a lot of access length on this end, you'll like this size, because I'd say the industry standard for a medium size strap is typically going to be closer to 80 and 120, so this is going to save you about 10 millimeters of extra tongue. And these are nice. They're actually fitted with right out of the box. You're going to get quick release spring bars. You're going to have the nice FKM rubber underside, nicely signed, also well ventilated. And you can see everything in terms of the stitch. It's all very, very premium. You can see, look at the uniformity there in the stitching. Very clean, very crisp lines. The hardware is amazing. Straight luxury level of brushing there. Not too dissimilar from what you might find on the side of a case, from Omega or Grand Seiko, in terms of that really nice micro brush there with a very crisp, clean, high polished bevel that just oozes quality. Fully milled, nicely signed. You do have one kind of stationary fixed keeper and then one floating to really get this to fit you nicely. And you can see the color palette here is beautiful. I love the peak of black from behind because then it helps kind of again tie in the the overall cohesion here. Very, very cool. And this has the hybrid construction where you're going to get the premium rubber base with that embossed synthetic material, that sailcloth pattern upper, which is very, very nice. And then in terms of the clasp here, it does come with these as standard, but you can actually also, depending on which width you get, like 19, 20, and 21 will be compatible with their Reissue style deployants, which are going to be kind of a spring-loaded one, like a leaf spring, to kind of get technical. And then if you get a wider, let's say 22 millimeter one, that's actually going to be compatible with their Blancpain style deployant as well. So a couple different options here. Very nice, very premium. But let's look at the strap that really for me got me to really fall in love with the Artem brand, which is their Sailcloth. And this is kind of their highest iteration of it, the Loopless style, meant for a deployant. You can see the beautiful Omega-style Deployant. So this strap alone is $133 and a $214 as tested. You can get these in gray, sand beige, green, blue, and then with the blue you can get either blue or white stitching. You can get it in black with either black, gray, or white stitching. You pay an extra $13 if you want quick release spring bars, or if you wanted to do the new fat spring bar option, which is going to be to accommodate larger ISO diver spring bars, which is nice. So I was able to use the OEM spring bars here, so that means the fatter tips, so that means it's going to sit nice and you're not going to get a lot of clicking in between the lug hole and the tip that's on the spring bar. So it's very nice. Then you add another $68 for this nice Omega-style Deployant clasp, and yeah, it's again it adds up quickly, and it's still slightly cheaper than this newer model. But again, this newer model, it just there's probably less options. It just comes pretty premium and set up and optimized. Versus here, you're going to have a couple more options, which for some people they might appreciate being able to have a couple more options in terms of your configuration. This is also available in 18, 19, 20, 21, or 22. And this is going to have this particular one is in 19 millimeters, as you guys can see, which is going to make it great for those SLA, SJE type watches, or really anything. I mean, you can put this on a Blancpain 50 Fathoms. Of course, these sailcloths are inspired by them, by Blancpain and their 50 Fathoms, the OEM straps. And I think I actually like kind of the stitch pattern in terms of the contouring. I prefer this style, so I really dig that. And then in terms of the sizes and buckles, the strap length is going to be 97 and 100 millimeters. Actually, the shorter end is going to be this end here technically. So this is going to be 97. This is going to be 100 millimeters. And you're getting soft silicone strip here to reinforce those holes, which is very nice. And then you have this nice leather underside with actual it's actually coated with a layer of natural rubber, which is cool. So you have leather that's been coated to be more water resistant and everything. And then of course you have the beautiful top layer. So with that said, let's actually get these on wrist and see how they wear. All right, guys, we'll start with the one sailcloth that started it all. Check it out in this beautiful new gray colorway. Nice and premium, and also very neutral, even more so than a black strap, which typically will match with everything. The gray here is going to go really well as well. I would say even more so because this is going to look great, with a blue dial, or really any color dial. You can just think of that neutral gray as, being about as versatile as a steel bracelet. And I mean, in this configuration, it feels as premium as a steel bracelet in a lot of ways, if not even more luxurious in some ways as well. Now, comparatively, check this out. Ooh, yes. Also very nice, the more traditional tang buckle, but still very, very clean, and again, similar in price. Of course, you can opt to put this on a different deployant style, but then that does take the price even higher. And really, this is meant to be more of a comparison of, I'm trying to make these a little bit more equally matched. These look great. Of course, if I do get my wrist a bit too close to the camera lens there, you're going to get some, perspective distortion. So what I like to do is keep my wrist nice and low, and then just tighten up the frame a bit so you guys can see just a bit of a truer aspect ratio while still keeping a detailed look as to how these may lay on your own wrist. Of course, I do have a 7.5-inch wrist for reference, but it is quite round, so it's not like it's super flat and accommodating. So if you were wondering if this this only looks good because I have a big old wrist, don't be alarmed, because this watch, especially this Murph, is going to look great on really any wrist. And then here we go with that 62 MAS reissue. Gorgeous. And yeah, there's something about it on this strap. Again, it definitely gives it Blancpain vibes. And, Blancpain is a true luxury brand. Their dive watches are not for the faint of heart. And although this, this Seiko is far from cheap or even close to affordable, by comparison to a Blancpain, it's going to be, a pretty big savings. So the nice thing is, if you did want to use the money that you saved to pair it with a really beautiful sailcloth strap, you absolutely do have that as an option. I do like this setup here. It just feels very cohesive, very nice, clean, classic, versus this is going to be a little bit more, I would say, contemporary, a little bit more sporty, a little bit more versatile as well. Again, this is going to really suit really any type of watch, almost, at least within the sporty realm, versus here, I do feel like it's going to be most at home on something with some level of water resistance to it. Although I have seen these on really nice, paired with field watches and whatnot as well. I think the theme itself is just going to be more personified on something that has a bit of water resistance, that is kind of on that side of the house. But now, since this isn't a watch review, we're not going to really get into lume shots or low light transitions, but we can just take a look at these two pieces kind of for what they are. Now I can show you, hey, that comes out in terms of the way this fastens, really nice and secure, as you can see there. And then this really protects the strap in terms of opening and closing it and refolding it. Although the material is quite sturdy here, with my larger wrist, I'm kind of down to the last couple of holes there, which is unfortunate. And I do wish I had a little bit more length on here. But let's look at them, guys. What do you think? In terms of which one do you think would probably be better for your use case, for your particular watch combo? Which one would you be reaching for if you really wanted to kind of elevate your watch and give it that perfect pairing? I think that's something that you can't underestimate when it comes to your watches, is kind of finding that perfect pairing. It's like having that perfect set of rims for your car, or that perfect set of sneakers for a particular outfit. There's those certain pairings kind of going to go a long way, and I think these are two great examples where Artem just really nails it with these color palettes, making them so versatile that they just seem like almost like an OEM option, right? Like if Hamilton or Seiko were to offer you, an up-spec luxurious version, they would include some nice goodies like these here. So for me, guys, closing thoughts, both of these options really represent, some of the absolute finest aftermarket watch strap options available today. These are both fantastic. Out of the two, I would probably lean more towards the Loopless. And that is mainly right now, at least as of now, is because I do like the one. I do think with the deployant clasp, it's just, again, it has just more of an elevated, elegant style. And the length works for my larger wrist really well. Versus here, unfortunately, the HydroFlex, even though it might be more versatile, the current lack of kind of an extended 80 millimeter, 120 millimeter length option kind of prevents it from taking top honors, at least for my 7.5-inch wrist. And if you have a larger wrist, then that might be something you might want to consider when you just don't have that extra slack. You guys saw I was on the third hole here, which means when it's tucked, you almost don't even need that other keeper because there's so little you know, left. So that was kind of how it was stacked, which is nice. Borderline, right? Still totally wearable, still totally handsome, premium, worth it, all that. But if you have a larger than 7.5-inch wrist, just be aware that you're going to have even less extra length there. So it would be nice just to make this feel a little bit more well-rounded. Again, to have that more standardized 80 and 120 millimeter length, which would, you know, boost it up about 10 more millimeters and just give you enough tongue there for you to tuck away. But for those of you who have smaller wrists, now with less tongue, you don't have to worry about that peeking through on the other side, which is going to be a huge plus for a lot of people. And, you know, the majority of folks are going to have around 7-inch wrists and smaller. So, you know, again, I'm probably more on the outskirts there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do a like. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.